don't know what it feels like to rely on a Social Security check. They don't know and they don't care. So they are trying to rip away those Social Security checks so they can help fund tax breaks for billionaires. That seems fair to them. Social Security is not charity. It is not some giveaway. Social Security is something that people earned by paying into it for all of their working years. It is a sacred promise that if you pay into the system, when you retire, you can count on these benefits. Right now, Trump and Musk are breaking that promise for 70 million Americans who receive Social Security benefits. Over half of seniors who rely on Social Security use it to pay for their food on the table and a roof over their heads. Elon Musk makes $8 million a day from the federal government, and he wants to take away the $65 a day that the average Social Security recipient gets. This is really ugly. Trump and Musk know that they don't have the votes in Congress to cut Social Security, so instead they're trying backdoor cuts by dismantling the agency that makes sure that Americans get the benefits they are legally entitled to. Musk is cutting off phone services for seniors who need help. Musk is shutting down offices around the country. Musk is firing thousands of workers who make sure that the Social Security system works and that checks go out to the people who are legally entitled to receive them. And when there's a mistake, and when someone can't get that mistake corrected and start their Social Security benefits on time, that is a benefits cut. When there is a mistake and fixing that mistake is just too hard to manage because no one answers the phone and the local Social Security office is closed and the line at the other office is hours long and someone finally just gives up, that is a benefits cut. When checks get delayed and seniors have to borrow money to pay rent or they have to go without food, that is a benefits cut. Every one of those changes is effectively a backdoor cut to the benefits that the law guarantees to every Social Security recipient. Trump and Musk can't cut benefits directly, so they think they can get away with indirect cuts, but Democrats are here to fight them every step of the way. Senate Democrats are united in saying, Trump and Musk, keep your hands off our Social Security. We are fighting back on behalf of every senior, on behalf of every single parent of a kid with disabilities who is supported by Social Security, on behalf of every single person currently paying into the program for later on down the line, and for every American who cares that our seniors can retire with some dignity. We need to get our priorities straight. We should be expanding Social Security benefits, not cutting them. And we should be asking the richest Americans to contribute a fair share to the program. It is time to fight for Social Security. We can protect Social Security from Trump and Musk's greed and build a future where everyone in this nation can retire with dignity. And that is why we are here today, and that is why we are launching the Social Security War Room. We are here to fight back. And with that, I call on my fellow fighter, Senator Ron Wyden.
Thank you, Senator Warren, and the leaders here, and I'm going to be brief. First of all, I think we're here because Social Security is under attack. Social Security is under siege. The chainsaw is pointed at their earned Social Security benefits. We believe Republicans have manufactured a crisis at Social Security, and the reality is Social Security would be fully funded for generations if Congress eliminated the payroll tax cut cap for billionaires and collected the money that they are illegally evading in taxes. So they're getting a head start by laying off people who are responsible for collecting taxes owed by the wealthy and making it harder for for Americans to get their benefits. Here's two examples. First is customer service over the phone. Everybody knows that the wait time to get a hold of a human being at Social Security is way too long. Instead of strengthening the system or getting more people to answer the phone, the Musk agenda is prohibiting using phones to make benefit claims or resolve most issues that require verifying your identity. Now, Musk knows that this is unpopular. So late last week, Trump's Doge appointees made a big show of saying they were delaying the change for all of 2 weeks and exempting some groups. But the fact is they've doubled down by saying retirees and widowers will still be locked out of the phone system for most meaningful customer service. That's the first way. They're making it harder for people to get their benefits. The second is closing offices. Once again, Trump appointed officials at Social Security are trying to pull a fast one and trick Americans about what they're doing. For example, they're saying that Social Security isn't closing any field offices, but Doge has taken over the General Services Administration, which handles the government's leases. According to the press, 47 offices have had their leases terminated. 26 offices even have a date set for closure. They're in Ohio, they're in North Carolina, they're in Georgia. The list goes on and on. So we're going to be clear here is the Trump forces aren't afraid to gaslight about what's really going on with Social Security. We saw this last week when the Trump nominee to run the program failed to tell the truth multiple times about his involvement with Doge after a whistleblower came forward with testimony that contradicted the nominee's answers. Then a veteran journalist at the Washington Post confirmed what the whistleblower was saying. So the nominee disregarded career staff cautions, for example, about privacy safeguards to rush through a Doge agent charged with sifting through American-sensitive personal information. He didn't tell the truth about coordinating with Doge officials. He didn't tell the truth to the Senate and to the bipartisan committee staff that met with him. So today, when we had consideration of the nominee, I said my top priority, the top priority of Senate Democrats is not voting today on this nominee who was not truthful in the process. We weren't granted that request, so today I've also made it clear that I'm going to work with the leader and make sure that this nominee faces every single opportunity to tell the truth before they put this nominee on the floor of the United States Senate. We know the majority controls the schedule, but they don't understand what a fight they're going to have if they put this nominee out there before they've answered the bipartisan questions about the truthfulness of what he has said to the American people. Not telling the truth for a position like this signals to me that you aren't going to tell the truth if you get confirmed. And that is everything that Senate Democrats stand against. We're not going to stop calling out these lies and rallying the American people to stand fully against these attacks on Social Security. The war room is just the beginning, and I appreciate Senator Warren working with us.
And next we'll hear from the leader.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I thank Senators Warren and Wyden for leading this and thank my colleagues, Senator Coons and Smith and Schatz, I'm missing it? Nope, for being here. Thank you. Look, Social Security has always been the third rail in American politics. You touch it, you get burnt. George W. Bush learned that the hard way. This Trump, Doge, Musk vote administration is in such a bubble, they don't understand it. They are so frothing at the mouth for tax cuts for the wealthy that they're willing to even touch Social Security. And they're not just touching it. They're trying to destroy it. They're trying to strangle it. When you shut off phone lines, when you close offices, when you increase wait times, 3 years for someone on disability to get Social Security, make no mistake about it. They're trying to strangle Social Security so it has no more life in it. That's their goal. It's incredible. I mean, we're incredulous. We never thought, as harsh and right-wing as a Republican administration is, that they would actually try to kill Social Security, and they are doing that by strangling it, by doing all the things that have been mentioned here. And there's an outcry everywhere in the country. White Plains, they shut the office. 200,000 people use that office. Elmira, Chemung County, a Republican county, they shut that office. Now there's huge pressure from the local Republican congressman to try and open it up again. Who knows what will happen? So it's amazing what they're trying to do. And their callousness, their in the bubbleness, if that's a word, or adjective, is incredible. I could not believe that the Secretary of Commerce said his mother-in-law wouldn't miss a check. It was incredible. Raise your hand here if you have a mother-in-law who has a billionaire son-in-law. They're the only ones with this. And, you know, Musk is often the truth teller here. He's so arrogant, he doesn't care, and he says our job is to kill it. That's what he said. And we take him at his word that that's what they want to do, but he better take us at our word that we're going to do everything we can to stop them from touching Social Security. And another tell, the guy they want to put in charge, Bisignano. I knew him when he was a businessman in New York. And businesses would bring him on board if they wanted to cut. You don't bring Bisignano on board to head the agency if you want to strengthen it. You bring him on if you want to emaciate it. And that's what he has done. So it is so good to see all the Democrats opposed. Putting Bisignano as head of Social Security is hiring an arsonist to run the fire station, plain and simple. So they don't care. Musk says it's a Ponzi scheme. Tell that to a 78-year-old woman who needs her check to buy medicines that keep her alive each month, who needs that $1,100. Tell her she's part of a grand Ponzi scheme after she put in money week after week and month after month and year after year, so she knew in retirement she'd never get rich, but at least she could afford the bare necessities like food and drugs. Finally, it is a great idea that Senators Warren and Wyden have had to dedicate a war room. Because one thing we have to do is show how bad it is, or lay out how bad it is. But second, we got to reach the American people. And the war room will do all the things we are doing. It's going to do oversight work. It's going to do social media posts. It's going to get all of us to visit local offices. We'll host town halls. AARP is doing lots of town halls in all of our states. They're allied with us. And we'll be calling on our Republican colleagues to wake up. As I said yesterday, not on Social Security, but on Medicaid, I was within 3 Republican districts demanding that those Republicans vote no on this budget, which is so devastating to people on Medicaid. And we're all doing that as well. And that's why they're reeling. That's why they're having trouble putting together a budget, a reconciliation budget, because the American people are catching on to how bad, how terrible this administration is for them, and the war room will make sure on Social Security people know that very, very well. I thank my colleagues. And Senator Kelly is here, too.
Thank you. Thank you. And next up is another great fighter, and that is the Senator from Minnesota, Senator Smith.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone, or still morning. Thank you to Senator Warren and Senator Wyden and all of my colleagues for launching this Social Security War Room. So since Elon Musk and Doge took over the Social Security Administration last month, this administration we can see that this administration is intent on dismantling Social Security and cutting millions of Americans' benefits, including more than 1 million Minnesotans that rely on Social Security, a program that they paid into and that they earned. President Trump and Elon Musk's move fast and break things mentality is breaking Social Security. Musk recently called Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time and described entitlement spending as the big one to eliminate. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said that if Social Security checks didn't go out, seems he thought that his 94-year-old mother-in-law would just wait for the next month for her Social Security check. Well, I have got news for Secretary Lutnick. When people don't get their Social Security checks, they're not waiting for the next check, they're waiting for their next meal. Social Secretary Lutnick obviously is not in touch with the reality that 22 million Americans, including more than 16 million seniors, would be living in poverty but for Social Security. And acting Social Security Commissioner Leland Dudnick threatened to shut down the entire agency in a fit after a federal judge informed him that DOGE is not allowed to root around in people's private data. President Trump understands that Americans love Social Security, and so he's claimed that his administration won't touch it. But that is not what's happening, and Americans can see it. President Trump and Elon Musk are crippling Social Security. They're making it nearly impossible for people to get their benefits. And the Trump administration and Elon Musk are simultaneously trying to fire the people who make the Social Security system work, close field offices, and then require seniors and others who need those services to visit offices just to prove that they have the money, just to prove they can get the money that is actually theirs already. So you can call this rank incompetence, or you can call it a don't know, don't care game plan. But what it looks like to me is sabotage. If Republicans are trying to save Social Security, this is a pretty funny way to go about it. So I want to tell you that the public servants at Social Security don't feel like they're winning this. They feel like they're losing, and so do the American people as well. And that's why we're gathered together to have this fight. Thank you so much, Senator Warren and Senator Wyden, for pulling us together and doing this work.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Smith. And now from the great state of Hawaii, another terrific fighter on this issue, Senator Schatz.
Thank you to you all. If there's one thing I want everyone in this room to remember, it is this. Social Security is the most successful anti-poverty program in American history, bar none. It is efficient. It is popular. It is universal. It works. It has reduced poverty for seniors and the disabled over many generations. In the state of Hawaii, we have about 300,000 Social Security recipients, and the average Social Security check is about $1,950 per month. The average rent in Honolulu exceeds the average Social Security check. The majority of people across the country who receive Social Security benefits use that as either all of their income or their primary source of income. And so the idea that you're going to realize savings by stealing, and I use that word intentionally, stealing money that people paid into over a lifetime of work in order to generate savings for what? More tax cuts for billionaires? We are here to say no. This is not actually a partisan issue until 60 days ago. It was the third rail. But boy, they are grabbing it with both hands, aren't they? And make no mistake, they have not yet enacted Social Security cuts through a new law, but they are cutting Social Security right now. Wait times have doubled. There are a lot of people who can't just jump on the internet and access their benefits. They may not have internet. They may not have a computer. They may have language access problems. They may be blind like my father-in-law, can't just jump on a laptop and navigate a website. We will be damned if we let this happen. And I don't just mean Democrats, I mean this country. There is a lot at stake. There are 70 million people who are counting on us to fight back, and we will.
Thank you, Senator Schatz. And now from the state of Delaware, we have Senator Coons.
Ask older Americans what they think of Social Security. Ask Delawareans, ask Americans what they think Social Security is. And they'll tell you it's an earned benefit, a vital lifeline, the thing that keeps them out of poverty, the thing that pays for their medication, that helps them afford rent, that allows them to live decently and safely. It is an absolute foundation on which 70 million Americans depend. Just this Sunday at church, a friend, a retired minister, came up to me trembling and said, I just checked, and Social Security through their website says they don't have an account for me. What will happen if my check doesn't come? Ask Elon Musk, the richest man on earth, what he thinks of Social Security, and he'll tell you it's a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is a fraud. A Ponzi scheme is a fake. A Ponzi scheme is a theft. And I'll tell you, more Delawareans call my office, reach out to me, grab my elbow as I'm heading onto the train, knock on my door to ask urgently, is Social Security safe? From Doge getting into my information, from cuts to the service hours and time and access, more Delawareans ask me urgently about Social Security than any other federal program. Ask Kathleen what she thinks of Social Security, and she'll say this, and I quote, I'm a 64-year-old disabled woman. I'm concerned about my Social Security disability. I am totally dependent on my check, and I'm terrified of what's going on with Doge. I will be homeless if anything happens to my disability check. Over and over, week after week, all of my colleagues hear the same thing from the people we represent. And for decades, there's been deep bipartisan support for sustaining, for strengthening Social Security. Until now, Elon Musk said the quiet part out loud, that they intend to slash benefits to help pay for tax cuts for billionaires and their buddies. I cannot think of a more immoral thing to do. I cannot think of a more wrong course of action than to slash health care benefits and access to the earned support of Social Security, simply to fund even bigger tax cuts for the very wealthiest Americans and most profitable companies. House Republicans have made it clear their goal is to cut $2 trillion in spending to pay for their reconciliation bill. You can't do that without cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. Social Security is not a giveaway. It's not riddled with waste, fraud, and abuse. And Democrats are united in protecting it. We need to strengthen Social Security, not cut it. And I stand with my colleagues and every Democrat in the Senate in saying, hands off Social Security, President Trump and Elon Musk.
Thank you. And now from Arizona, Senator Kelly.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I've got a lot of retired folks in the state of Arizona that are really freaked out about this. We hear it all the time. My parents, my grandparents relied on Social Security. They would have been in a really bad spot if they were alive today. All of them. When Elon Musk called Social Security a Ponzi scheme, the president should have fired him immediately from his government job. He's got plenty of resources. He would have been fine. Seniors are not going to be fine if he continues in this rampage on this program. This isn't the government's money. This is money that these seniors have earned through a lifetime of hard work. During COVID, I delivered Meals on Wheels. And on a number of days, I showed up at seniors' homes who needed lunch and dinner. And I went inside of some of these homes, and I talked to them about how important this food was to them. These seniors exist all over the country. They rely on this income often as their only source of income. To a person, it would have been devastating to them and their finances. And they're wrecking Social Security. Make no mistake, they're firing staff, they're cutting services. They're making it harder for Americans to get a real person on the phone. And they're telling them to show up at the office. And then when they get to the office, they're telling them to go online. This is cutting Social Security. This is exactly what they're doing. President Trump said he wouldn't cut Social Security. But I'll tell you this, if even one American is denied from getting benefits that they've earned, they are breaking the promise. So with all of this, we are going to be laser focused on hearing from Americans about their stories. We're going to amplify them. We're going to talk to the American people about how this is going to impact them and their family members in the future. And we're not going to let President Trump and Elon Musk break this promise to the American people. Thank you.
Ron, you want to come over? All of you.
All of them.
We're here to take questions about the Social Security war room. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wanted to give you guys a chance to respond. Elon Musk told Fox News last week, he said, quote, as a result of the work of Doge, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money. He basically said you guys were lying in your accusations against him. What do you make of this?
So where are Elon Musk's receipts for that? Elon Musk has cut access to Social Security for tens of millions of people who are legally entitled to those benefits. That is a benefit cut. And I don't care what words Elon Musk wants to use, it is clear that is what he has done. And we know that was exactly his intention because he said the quiet part out loud. He intends to get rid of the Social Security system. He has said so. It is time for us to pay attention, not just as Democrats. We are on the case here, not just as seniors who take advantage of the benefits that they are legally entitled to, but as a nation. We all need to stand up and get rid of Elon Musk and tell Donald Trump to keep his hands off our Social Security.
And
Who else wants to
the
jump in?
reality is what he's doing is so unpopular. And the American people have caught on, and he's trying to play games to cover it up. For example, he knows that the phone changes are enormously unpopular. So late last week, he made this big show of saying that they were delaying the change for all of 2 weeks and exempting some groups. And they went out and made huge fanfare as if all the phone policies, which people were so angry about, had somehow been changed. And in effect, they made this itty-bitty change, and we tried to tell the American people, and this is what the War Room is going to do, hey, they're gaslighting the American people and families by misrepresenting what's going on.
Can you talk a little bit more about the goals of the War Room and what we should expect from the group?
Sure, I'm glad to do this, but does
Yeah,
anyone
let's-
else want to
everybody
weigh
else bring 'em in.
Go ahead. You want to? Anybody?
Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, go
All
ahead,
right.
Elizabeth. You're good.
Okay. Look, 100% of the Democrats and independents are laser focused on this issue. We are fighting back alongside tens of millions of Americans. The War Room is about getting that effort organized. It is about oversight that we are obligated to do as members of the United States Senate. It is about having a place to bring the stories so we can have all of the American people privy to what we hear when we're back home, so they can hear the stories about what it means that you may not be able to afford rent, that you may not be able to afford food, and to get those stories out. We will use this War Room as an opportunity to focus the energy around saving our Social Security. And understand this, when American people get a chance to weigh in on Social Security, there's a lot of energy, and not just a lot of energy to preserve the status quo, a lot of energy to make Social Security stronger. And that is what Democrats fight for. It is time to strengthen the Social Security, not let Musk and Trump kill it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I get
everyone.
Thanks,
a little
everybody.
excited on this.
That's good.
All right.